What's up, guys? Just a quick comment before this video starts. In a couple weeks I'll be celebrating the 1-year anniversary of my YouTube channel, so I thought it'd be cool if I did a quick Q&A at that time. If you guys have any questions, just leave them in the link below from this video and I'll answer them then. Thanks. Cheers, guys. So for this video I'm going to talk about how you can dress up, or depending on your situation, dress down your dive watch. Now, a lot of these tips you can really apply to any watch, but I find dive watches are fairly versatile and you can wear them in most situations. So why not try and maximize their utility? Now, most dive watches will probably come on a stainless steel bracelet, like my Steinhardt Ocean 1 here. But as you'll see when I flip perspectives, I'll show you some different strap pairings with this watch and with another watch as well. Now, before I do flip perspectives, I'll just give you a couple of general tips. If you're going for something more business casual, if you're going to be using any type of strap, try and match the color of a strap with your shoes and your belt if possible. Now, alternatively, if you just want to draw more attention to the dial color of your watch, actually I recommend trying to pair a watch strap of a different color to that dial. So for example, if you have a black face watch, then maybe use like an orange pumpkin or a NATO strap with a pop of color on that watch. And if you can match a NATO strap or something that has a little bit of color with a piece of attire you're already wearing, like a tie, then I think that also makes a really cohesive look. So let me flip perspectives now, and I'll show you some different strap pairings with a couple of dive watches. Hey guys. So now I just want to discuss how you can dress up or dress down a vintage-inspired dive watch. And for this example, I'm going to be talking about my Steinhardt Ocean 1 Red Vintage Edition. And you can see right now I have it on this distressed brown leather strap. And I think this is a good option to dress up your diver a little bit. Now, some people will say this is a fashion faux pas because wearing a leather strap on a watch that's meant to get wet won't work really well. And also, if it's a really hot day like in the summer, it can chafe your wrist a little bit. But this is purely for the purposes of matching a vintage style watch on a vintage style strap. And in this specific example, I think you can pull it off pretty well. Now, I will throw this on the wrist so you guys can see how it wears. And here's a wrist shot of the Steinhardt Ocean 1 Red Vintage on my wrist with this vintage brown leather strap. And this is a good pairing because I also think when you're dealing with vintage inspired watches, if you look at the dial, you kind of have this faux patina that's there, more of this like gilt or faded gold color on the hour markings and handset. And in this situation, having a leather strap that's also kind of worn in does complement the dial there. Now, this does dress it up a little, but I don't think you're going to be like James Bond and wear a tux with this. But definitely you can wear it in a more formal setting. I just wanted to show you a second vintage leather strap option for the Steinhardt Ocean 1. And this is just, it's a really nice black vintage leather strap. And it has some contrast white stitching here that kind of matches the case. So if you're going for a more of a, a dressy look where you're going to be wearing all black, then this might also be a good option for you. Let me just throw this one on the wrist so you can see how it wears. And here's a wrist shot with that black vintage leather strap. And again, I just think it does dress it up a little as well, and it could be a good option if you're wearing more formal attire. Now, speaking of James Bond, I would be remiss if I didn't put this dive watch on a Bond NATO strap. And any watch that has, a darker colorway, I think you can execute a Bond NATO, that black and gray variation of a NATO strap really, really well. It plays with the overall case design and the dial really nicely. So this is a good choice if you're going to be in a more casual setting, and if you are planning on being more active, NATO straps are a great choice. Alright guys, and here's a wrist shot of the Steinhardt Ocean 1 with a Bond NATO strap. And again, you can just see how well the case and the dial pair with this strap option. And again, it's very comfortable and you can be really active wearing this on a NATO strap. Now I do have one more tip if you're going to be wearing this type of dive watch with a NATO strap, and that's to try and find a NATO strap with some more like color options that just pops out a little more. And a good way to do that is find one that has a similar color that matches a small detail on the watch. And in this instance, if I move in, you can see that the Ocean 1 Red Vintage Edition does have that red text there near the 6 o'clock. So I'm going to be pairing this with a really dark colored NATO strap that just has a pop of red color. And I'll show you that in a second. So here's a wrist shot of the Steinhardt Ocean 1, and you can see that I got it on a dark colored gray NATO, but it has this really nice red accent stripe going through it, and that red accent really complements the text on the dial here. And this is a nice way just to bring any subtle dial, like color variations in the dial. It brings it out, and it really helps just accentuate that timepiece in general. Okay guys, so now I got a different dive watch with me. This is my Citizen Promaster diver. The main difference is it is obviously a blue dial diver. It has a fully brushed case, which I enjoy, and the lug gap is smaller than the Steinhardt. It's a 20 millimeter lug versus a 22 millimeter lug gap for the bracelet options. Now this watch is currently on a rubber strap that's similar to the stock strap that came with it, but I actually added this one because it's perforated and it has some contrasting white that I think kind of go with the hour markers and the white on the handset. So this is my go-to strap for this watch, and when I'm being active with the Promaster, I definitely use this one. I do bring this in the water on this strap, and I do take it mountain biking and just doing other outdoor activities with. So I'm going to show you a few different strap options for this watch, and also I'll attempt to dress it up a little near the end as well. Okay guys, just to start off, I'm throwing this on a blue NATO strap, and it does have a pop of color with the yellow. I just think the contrast in yellow also helps with the fact that the minute hand on the Promaster is a bright color. It's an orange. So let me show you how this wears on my wrist. And there's a wrist shot of the Promaster with this really nice NATO strap option. Alright, let me just throw it on another NATO and I'll show you the contrast in color. So with this NATO strap option, we're going with the lighter colors, and I really love this. Is I think called a Tidal Blue, and for a dive watch, I do enjoy the fact that you're just playing with different shades of blue, and it's super comfortable as well. So let me show you this one on the wrist. And there's a wrist shot of the Citizen Promaster on this really nice Tidal Blue NATO strap. But what if you guys want to dress this up? Well, there are a couple of options. One, you could go the leather strap route, which I can show you. And then lastly, and probably my favorite for this particular watch, with an all brush case, you can go with shark mesh. So let me show you those options right now. So I find with blue dial watches, when pairing with leather strap options, you don't always have to go the really solid dark colors. You don't have to go with like a solid black or a really dark brown. You could pair it with a lighter strap. So I'm pairing it with this gray leather strap with some really nice white contrast stitching. And I think this brings it to a level where, you can wear it kind of more business casual or casual. So let me throw this on the wrist so you guys can see how it wears. And here's a wrist shot of the Citizen Promaster on this light gray vintage leather strap. And again, also because this watch is a fully brushed case and low profile, I do think it does suit well for being more of a dressed up type of diver. Now let me show it to you on my favorite personal option, which is on shark mesh. Here's the Citizen Promaster on this really nicely polished shark mesh bracelet. And again, the reason I think this works pretty well is because the case for this watch is fully brushed, and you do have some contrast with the polished bracelet here. So I don't think it's too flashy. It doesn't. The case itself isn't super reflective or shiny. So this is a really, really good fit. And let me show you a wrist shot of this particular shark mesh bracelet on the watch. Let's check that out. That's like the money shot right there. A really nice, thin, and really well polished shark mesh bracelet. Really dresses up this Citizen Promaster in my opinion. And again, I think you can pull this off in a more formal setting. You're not going to be wearing it with a tux or a suit, but you can definitely rock this, with a dressier shirt, maybe a sports coat for sure. So that about wraps up the video that I wanted to do for this, and I hope you do find this useful with respect to dressing up or dressing down your dive watch. So until next time, guys, I'll see you in the next video.